Hey, good. I'm just curious about that third quarter. It was close. Like, I want to say 57, 53 was right there. And then they went on that run. This what happened during that spurt, and this what, what happened during that spurt?
I mean, I think coming out of halftime, we knew we had to, just be aggressive the first 5 minutes of the third quarter, and that was an emphasis that we had. And going forward, we just have to figure out how to stop teams' runs. They obviously got that, and I think, we just have to do a better job of stopping them in the moment. And
Is it just about right now the rotations and getting them? We talk about stopping teams.
Say that again, sorry.
When you're saying we have to get better at stopping
Yeah.
teams, so from your perspective, or the team's perspective, are you guys still learning your rotations on defense? Sorry.
Yes and no. I think, whenever we stop runs, that's, I think, with our offense, so just being able to, break down their defense, be more aggressive offensively and make our shots. I think that's a way to stop runs. Rotation wise, I think, we can still work on that, but I think, we get better and better each game. And I think our rotations were better this game. Obviously we were switching a lot, and so we were scramming out defensively. I think we get better as each game goes in rotation.
Hey, Jewel, offensively, you 0-3. If you look at the whole body of work on the 3 games, is there a positive? Are you guys moving forward and kind of, learning the offense? What do you take away?
For sure. I think anyone can see that. We've gotten better every game, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build, not just for this month, but for the year. And so we understand there's going to be some learning curves, and we're going to, still figuring out rotations, defense assignments, different things we want to do both offensively and defensively. So, we're getting better.
Jewel, before the game, you and Stewie were tied for the same amount of average points this season. Obviously, you're going to go out and try and score as much as you can for every game. But was that a stat that was like that you were aware of at all, that you and Stewie were kind of at the same point, and were you kind of trying to outwork her in any way? I mean, obviously.
No. No, I didn't know that at all going into the games or anything. We're just trying to, I set my benchmarks, and I know what I have to do for this team. And my job is to try to score the ball efficiently. And that's what I'm trying to do. But I had no idea about that.
And then what kind of, for both of you, just, overall positives, it kind of seems like, each game has been getting progressively better. Is that kind of how you're feeling? And what are just overall positives and negatives?
I think that's what it's all about for us. Obviously, as everyone knows, we are a new team. And I think for us, it's just about getting better each game, each day at practice. And I think that's, been evident in the games that we have played. Obviously, it's, tough starting 0-3, but I think with that, we just look at the positives, and that's, our offense is getting better, our defense is getting better, our chemistry is getting better. And so I think that's something to take away from it.
Julie, you guys only had 8 turnovers. It's not really a problem of throwing the ball away. I know there are some turnovers you'd like back as a team, but what do you chalk this up to in terms of efficiency of shooting and keeping up with the New York Liberty when you guys had 5 fewer turnovers than them?
If you would have saw us in training camp, we had within 6 minutes, like 31 turnovers. So turn the ball over, something that we've definitely been focusing on. We want more possessions and good possessions. And I think, I think we shot the ball. We have a little bit more shots than them, but we didn't shoot a very high percentage. So it comes down to making shots. So whatever that is, more game reps, shooting, just confidence in making the shots. I mean, I obviously, New York's super long, so maybe, that, affect our shooting, but either way, you have to be able to make shots. And so that's something that we have to do a better job of, whether it's just getting better looks for each other, getting to the free throw line if we're not hitting shots or whatever that is, but it'll come.
New York and Las Vegas are expected to be top teams in this conference or in this league. How is there any need to try and make sure that you guys aren't thinking this is a moral victory, that you stayed within 10, you stayed within 5, you cut it down to 4 late? How do you keep away from kind of that mindset and continuing to push forward?
I mean, we still want to win games. I think that's, obviously it has been a tough start, but I think our mentality is, we want to win. We don't want to just, like you said, have that moral victory of just staying within 10 or staying within 5. I think, when we do get that first win, I think it's going to be important for us just in terms of confidence and everything. But yeah, I think we go out to win every game. Yeah, that's just our mindset.
Take a couple on Zoom here real quick. Jeff Brown, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, Joel, just talk to me defensively. You guys are switching on screens, and New York was trying to get, their post players on the smaller guards, trying to take advantage of that. Can you just talk about, as a guard, the challenges of that, and what are the keys to kind of being successful in that switch?
I think our switches were good. We made them take different looks. We kind of slowed them down a little bit. For guards, it's very important to switch under and just be physical. I think we're taught usually to sit on their knees, try to push them out, things like that. And I think, we fought. I mean, we had Jade, the rookie down there banging and fighting, and that's what you want to see. And so you just want to make it difficult. And obviously, you want to give up the 2 and not the 3. So that was our plan. And, we stuck to that. And with all of that, that's still growth in our defense of learning how to do that people have never done before. So, we got better at it, and that's something we'll definitely use going forward.
And then also, Joel, talk about Ezzy's performance. Kind of stood out to me was the 16 shot attempts. That's a season high, might even be a career high. Just talk about the importance of Ezzy continuing to be aggressive and grow and develop her game.
Yeah, I mean, that's who she is now. She played a different role last year and the year before that, but, she's a big part of our success here in Seattle. So her being aggressive and getting downhill, taking shots, I mean, that's what she's been training to do. She has the confidence to do that. She has the green light to do that. We all believe in her to be able to take those shots and do those things. So it's not a fluke or by accident she's taking that many shot attempts or being that aggressive. That's something that we've been telling her to do since she's been here. So yeah, I'm excited for her growth, and it's only the beginning for her.
And then Ezzy, just kind of speaking just on that, the aggressive mindset of looking to score and also your second double in as many games.
Yeah, I think obviously, like Jules said, my role is different this season. And, I think I've been consistent defensively, but I think my focus this year is just to be more of a 2-way player, be more aggressive offensively. Obviously, that includes taking more shots, but shot selection is still important. So you obviously want to be efficient with it. You obviously, want to make good plays as well. But anyway, I can help my team just being aggressive. I think that's a way to do it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Em Adler, go ahead, Em.
Hi, yeah. First question for Jewel. I just wanted to go off of what Jeff was asking about with the switches. I know New York really tries to challenge defenses with their off-ball movement and how quickly they get into those swing and pick and rolls. Were there any keys you guys had to counter that, just besides the switching?
I mean, yes and no. I think for us, it's, we rely on our athletic ability to switch out, try to not to pass, ball pressure, kind of just the fundamentals of defense is trying to be physical at the screen of attack, force them to use the screen. And we were in rotations and they, threw the farthest pass out and they hit shots. So, we're trying to rotate and try to disrupt them as much as possible. And they were able to get some shots off. And I think that's what helped them. For us, it was just trying to be physical at the point of the attack and be active.
Great, thanks. And as your guys' first 2 games this year, y'all have gone up against front courts that have each had, 2 great players to match up against. Do you feel like that kind of early challenge just helped you and Sadie's develop more defensive chemistry together? I know y'all played together a lot at the end of 2021, but not last year.
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime that we're able to, play together, obviously Sadie's was out last season. So I think it's just nice to be back on the floor with her and see her healthy. Spending the whole training camp with her was obviously different. We missed her out there, but yeah, like you said, the first 3 games we had tough matchups, and I think that's it was a good challenge for us. But yeah, it's nice to have Sadie's back out on the court, and I think we're just going to continue to build that chemistry.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Em. Time for one more.
Obviously, you guys travel down to LA next, but with 6 of the first 7 at home, as he talking about it being a new team, how much of a positive is it to have this sort of first stretch at home, just to kind of have that familiarity and not have to just travel, I guess, with trying to build everything, just having that at home, is that a big positive, or just how do you look at that?
Yeah, I think it's, sorry, you want to
No,
go?
you can.
Sure?
Yeah, you got it.
Sure? You got it. No, go ahead.
I've done enough talking.
No, it's you.
I was just gonna say, I think it's always, the support that we get from the fans. I think that's a big part of it. Just knowing that they have our backs, even though the team is different. And I think for the newer players, knowing what Seattle fans are like, and I think they've really shown out that first game, second, and even this game, you kind of, you hear them the whole game. So I think that's kind of, it's just good for us to kind of know that they're on our side. Yeah. Well, Joel.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's nice to be settled and have the days of practice and have everyone kind of get, familiar with each other. It gives us time to bond a little bit more, for sure. Cause, as you know, in this league, it's hard to win on the road and it's hard, a different atmosphere, things like that. So it's nice to kind of be home at first and just bond together. And that's what we've been doing. And that's super important for this team, especially. So we've been privileged to have that beginning of the season.
Pushed some pace, got some good looks, and for the majority of the game, just was super proud of our fight, and how hard we played. So I thought it was a great effort against a very, very good team.
Hey, Coach, in the first half, you guys held Stewart to like 8 points, but it seemed like things changed in that third quarter. She scored 10, and that's also when you guys had it down to 3, and then they just kind of went on that run. Just what happened in that third quarter there?
She started switching and actually short rolling. I thought they were tough shots. They weren't free open threes. She was in the mid-range and just shooting over our guards, and where she was catching it was a little bit more difficult to bring attention and disrupt there. And then because of our activity defensively, rotations. So Sabrina got some looks from 3, but Stewie in particular, I thought she was just more aggressive. But I think that they were tough, very tough looks.
And if you had to guess or just see your team a month from now, just how do you think you guys will look?
That's a great question, Percy. Better, because we've gotten better. We're 3 games in with a young, new group. In every single game, we've learned even more. We kept our turnovers low today. We out-rebounded them today. We shot a little bit better last game, but once we put together the defense and offense, the chemistry, the synergy, I think from a month from now, we will be a lot better. And as long as we continue to compete and play hard and hold that standard of those things, I think good things will happen.
Hunter Ames with Winsider. Coach, you talked about the stats all looking very close. Some of the players were mentioning that you have to stop those runs from happening. What was the difference in the game today?
Best player in the world on the floor. Honestly, when you have a team with multiple deadly offensive weapons, sometimes your defense just isn't good enough. You're there on the catch and they make great shots. And I think what happens for us, we have to get better with is what we do offensively. We have to reward ourselves offensively. I think sometimes we get great defensive stops and then we're turning the ball over. We're taking bad shots or we're not working to get a great shot. But we have to just blend the two of those things.
Coach, you seem to be really animated, having a lot of fun on the sidelines. What's changed about your coaching style this year? What has this team needed from you that might have been different from you in years past?
It's fun. It's challenging. We have a very good group of people here that come to work every day, no matter their circumstance, get their work in. They want to be better. They want to be coached. And for me, yes, we want to see the fruits of our labor. We want to see success in the box scores and get wins. But the fact that we're getting better every single day, I'm proud of that. And I'm not going to come every day with a terrible attitude because I don't have the luxury to do that. It's about continuing to empower, uplift, and commit to doing my job. And that's to get our players in their proper positions to continue to grow and learn how we want to play. And hopefully we find success in that. But for me, my coaching staff, our organization, this team, it's a blessing for me to have this position. So my disposition has to be positive, especially with this group.
You mentioned her is the difference, not that you didn't appreciate Stewie, but is there a different sense of like what other coaches were going through game planning for you the last few years?
Yeah, but honestly, I feel like it wasn't, it was hard for her today a little bit. I would say like the emotion, it wasn't like, you know, we've seen the runs that Stewie can get on. I think today was a little bit tougher because we schemed a little bit differently than the last couple of teams that schemed against her. So yeah, it's always, you know, I've seen it as a player every day in the gym, you know, her off-season workouts, she's incredible. And sometimes again, like you have good defense, but it's better offense with a player like that.
Was the point guard rotation kind of scripted to get Jade some minutes there and then go to Sammy later in halves? It was.
Just wanted to see, you know, obviously Vonnie is great defensively, and she was better today. I thought more engaged on both sides of the floor, but I wanted to see Jade early, and you guys can see what she can do. She can pass. She pushes the pace, and she's very smart. What Sammy brings is just kind of a veteran comfort in knowing that, you know, she also can score the ball, but has, you know, moonlighted there a little bit. So, you know, going back to Vonnie could have, but I liked what Sammy was bringing as well. So that was a good look today. We learned a lot about that today.
Yeah, so coach, first talk to me about the switching on defense, the schemes, and you know, a lot of times New York was trying to get posts down against your guards. Just talk about kind of the challenges for those guards. And then I did feel like you guys made a better adjustment in the second half. So maybe talk about those adjustments and kind of the keys when you do get put in those mismatches of a post on a smaller player in the paint.
Well, the key for us today for switching was to get them a little bit out of rhythm. What happens when you switch, you get tunnel vision on the switch. And so, you know, obviously we can scram out of those situations and keep size at the rim. But what happens when you scram is you give up backside threes and all of those things. So we didn't want to give up those threes in rotation, and we're hanging our hat on our guards fighting in New York, looking for that isolation in the post. And then that takes Stewie out of her open threes. That takes the other players out of their open threes. And that's what kind of happened when we were locked into those schemes. So if JJ got it at the 2 and if Dolson got it at the 2, that's a 3 that Stewie did not get. That was kind of the premise of what we wanted to do defensively. Hopefully New York doesn't listen to this for the next time, but that was the premise of it. It slowed them down a little bit offensively. Obviously they adjusted, they slipped, but I thought for the most part we were okay.
Cool. And then just a real quick, as the 16 shot attempts, which is a season high, just talk about her aggressiveness. She had another double tonight.
Yeah, we need her to be aggressive. We need another scorer. She has worked on her game tremendously, getting the rebound and pushing it up the court. I will continue to empower her to take good looks, to be aggressive. When she's playing at a high level, it's better for us.
Thank you.
Coach, you talked about wanting to get better shots. You had better shots against Dallas, but yeah, you had 5 fewer turnovers tonight. You out-rebounded them, got on the O boards. What is a bad shot? What did you see that you want to correct for games going forward?
The quick ones, especially after, you know, good defensive stops or within the rhythm of, you know, getting a stop, score, stop, or breaking their rhythm. Not a clean look. So taking a shot over 2-3 people instead of getting to the second and third side. So those are the kind of things that I'm thinking about now. So just kind of trying to find a balance of what's a quick, good shot versus like making the defense work a little bit more.
You touched on Jade's playing time a little bit. Was it kind of more of just seeing, you know, her progress in practice and maybe get more confident, or was it just kind of a matchup thing with, you know, how the team was looking and also just her performance in general?
No, I mean, she's actually done a very good job in training camp, honestly, and I trusted her game 1, but it's just us trying to find some synergy and some chemistry with some other pieces that maybe had impacted that. But I was very confident in her, especially coming to training camp and after training camp and understanding her mind and how she works and her growth process. So we're going to see more of her.
Coach, just real quickly, you talked about rewarding yourself in offense and then there's turnovers and those kinds of things. Is that a recognition from the players? Is that a chemistry type of thing? You know, is that's going to take time?
I think so. What happens is we'll see it, and it's repetition. So we're going to continue to see it on film. We're going to continue to coach it every day in practice. We're going to see it in the game, coach it in the game. And this team just needs repetition in practice and everything that goes into understanding how we can get better. Individual film sessions and all of those things. So it is just a matter of emphasizing it every day, showing it, correcting it when we see it in practice. And hopefully this group continues to understand what that means.
Just real quick for you, Noel, when you look at the complexion of this team and off the first loss, right, to Vegas, and then very competitive against Dallas, very competitive tonight against New York, with what you lost in the offseason, 3 very big names and Bree and Sue retiring and of course, Stewie going to New York. Is the team where you expected? Is it a little behind, or is it ahead of where you expected it to be right now?
I'll say this: to have New York and Vegas for our first 3 games and to see the growth and progress, I think it is at a good spot. I'll say that. I don't want to say that I didn't expect it because I'm always an optimist. I'll double down and bet on my staff and this group to figure it out, even though we're new and young and all of those things. But I think where we are now, it is very encouraging because now we're going to head into part of our schedule where we're going to continue to get challenged. But if we can build on what we did in these last 3 games, I think that it puts us in a really good spot. We just can't take steps backwards.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.